organizing a national coalition against what they've termed the new Jim Crow, which is stop and frisk, which some of you know intimately is a policy that undermines and disenfranchises minorities in the city, and he's starting a coalition to stop that. Last time I met this guy, he said to simply introduce him, say, "This is Jazz Hayden from Harlem." Please welcome, everybody, Jazz Hayden from Harlem.
Hey, welcome everybody. Is Harlem in the house?
Yeah.
Is Bed-Stuy in the house? Is the South Bronx in the house?
Yeah.
Is the Lower East Side in the house? Yeah. Those communities. Brooklyn! Yeah. Those are the communities that are most impacted by this failed, ignorant policy. You understand? We got a bunch of raggedy-ass human beings in this country telling another group of raggedy-ass human beings, us, what we can and can't put in our bodies. This doesn't require no science, no academics, no statistics. Nobody on this fucking planet has a right to tell me what I can and can't put in my body. This is mine. I sleep with it, I eat with it, I urinate with it, I defecate with it, I feed it, I take care of it. This is mine. Nobody has a right to tell me what I can put in this body, man. Especially another raggedy-ass human being, right? Now, we are the majority in this country. We are the majority. Without law, there is no crime. Without law, there is no crime. They pass laws and make us criminals. We're not criminals. They are the criminals. You understand? They are the criminals. Now, part of my work in the campaign to end the new Jim Crow is to end this system of mass incarceration. This system of putting human beings in cages. Right now, we have 2.5 million human beings in cages. And we got another 5 million on leashes under the control of the criminal justice system in this country. And the increasing majority of them are people who have been involved, that have violated these insane drug laws that they have passed on the population in this country here. We don't have to put up with this. How can they do this to us? Silence is consent. Silence is consent. The year before last, they had 700,000 stop and frisk in New York City. Over 50,000 arrests, man, for marijuana, small quantities of marijuana, man. This is sheer bullshit. Who's paying? Yes, we're paying. Every time you look at one of them NYPD officers in their uniforms, getting them paychecks and those benefits, and we see those vans and those wagons and those helicopters, we're paying for all of that. We're paying these people, these regulators, to oppress us. Then we got to pull back. We got to tell them no. These communities are our communities. These bodies are our bodies, man. Nobody tells us, man, comes in our communities and treats us, man, like we're garbage. You understand? And put our children and our women, and having them pregnant, giving birth in jails and prisons, simply because they're trying to enforce this insane policy. Well, I want y'all to know, I was here last year And the only reason I got out of my bed Saturday morning was to come down here because this policy is out of control. This policy is out of control. And we need to come together. We need to come together and speak in one voice and tell these greasy-ass politicians that claim to be representing us, man, that we want these laws off the books. We want these laws off the books, man. You understand? We need to get out here and elect the next mayor and tell that mayoral candidate, man, pick him out right now. The one I like the best right now is John Luke. You understand? But whoever we pick, this policy has got to go, man. This policy of stop and frisk and criminalizing the citizens of New York City, this has got to cease. You know, and the only way it's going to stop is if we stand up, not just come to these events like this here, not just come out and bathe in the sun and shout power to the people and you know, fuck the police and all the rest of that insane shit. No, we have to go to the polls, man. We have to go to the polls, man, and get people there that's going to represent the interests represent our interests. And on that note, I want to thank you for coming out, and I want to thank y'all for being in the struggle.
Wrote a great book. In that book, she described the problem. What we need to be talking about now is the solution. You know, and in order to talk about the solution, we're going to have to take control of this whole narrative about justice and about what's fair and all this poppycock, man, that they put in our heads from the time that we were in kindergarten. You know, about this and all this talk about this being an exceptional nation. You know, we have to change this narrative. We have to take control of this narrative. We can't, as long as we continue to talk using their language and their definitions of what reality is, we're lost. The question becomes for us now, in terms of solutions, is how do we get rid of all of these things that divide us, all of these disconnects? We have so many different views of what it is that should be done, but what we lack, I think, is a common vision. And the Bible says, without vision, the people perish. We don't have a common vision. For the last 40 years in New York State and probably around the country, we have had what a friend of mine calls boutique activism. Boutique activism is when everybody picks out a piece of the problem and focuses on that part of the problem. It could be 100 people working on drug policy, and the only ones they talk to are the funders. They don't talk to one another. They don't talk to one another. There's no horizontal integration. Only thing they're concerned about is where the funding is coming from. Now, those of us that have been out here and worked with these organizations, if you go around and ask these organizations what is the one thing that they've done to improve the conditions of the people that they're working for and the communities that they're working for the most part, you're going to get silence. You're going to get silence. And I'm not knocking these organizations, you know, because movement and the consciousness it takes to build movement is a process, right? We try reform, but we've tried it for 40 years and it doesn't work. It doesn't work. The prison population went from, in 1970, from 300,000 to 2.4 million today, the largest prison population in the history of humankind. And they say, if you always do what you always did, you always get what you always got. Right? So we need to change, and we need fundamental change. Now listen, as Cornell said, you know, we don't agree on everything. I've been to prison since I was 16 years old. I've been in state prison, I've been in federal prison, and I was born in Harlem Hospital. You know, so I was born into a prison. You know. So when I talk about prison, I'm not talking about something from an academic perspective. I'm talking about, man, I experienced this. You understand? Solitary confinement, I experienced that. Right? Denial of the right to vote and being treated like a piece of garbage, I've experienced that, man. And so, I was in Attica the year before Attica went up. And we organized, and we came together. There was everything, everybody in there. I mean, every movement that was taking place in the streets, the Black Panther Party, the Young Lords, the Weathermen, the SDS, all of them were in there. And as we began to educate and organize ourselves, we realized, man, that we had to get rid of that whole alphabet soup of Black Panthers, BLA, Young Lords, Weathermen, SDS. And we got rid of all those labels, and we came together as one, and we called ourselves the People's Party. The People's Party. And that's what you saw when Attica went up. That's what you saw in that yard. Fortunately, I was shipped out of there 6 days before the place went up. But the preparation that went into building the solidarity that we had took place for a year before that, man. You know, it took place, it came out of the tombs. You know, when the tombs went up in smoke. And they moved us all to Attica. But now, out there on the West Coast, they doing the same thing. They're eliminating all those labels. White, black, Latino, Asian, Indian. And they've agreed to eliminate them so that they can begin to speak in one voice, just like the people that have them in them cages. They speak in one voice. All the people in power during Attica Rebellion, they spoke in one voice, right? And they met prisoners that spoke in one voice. Why is it that we don't seem to learn that lesson, man? Why is it we continue to see ourselves as the only right way? Why can't we connect the dots? We talk about prison, man. Like I say, I've been in prison. The only thing a prisoner wants is out. He don't want no flat screen TVs in the visiting room. He don't want no, children playpens. He wants out. He wants to go to his family, huh? He wants out. That's what prisoners want. So everybody that's working on issues of reform and trying to make the prison a better place to live, listen, that's not what prisoners want, right? And this whole issue that these false dichotomies that we keep engaging in, man, children in prison, women in prison, old people in prison, they are human beings in cages. That's what they are. That's what they all have in common. They're human beings in cages, man. You know, and this is what we got to start, we got to take control of this language, man. We got to take control of this narrative, man. We got to start eliminating the things that disconnect us, that divide us. You know, until we do that, until we begin to connect the dots, we are finished. We ain't going nowhere. The only movement we're going to have, in the words of my friend Jamal Joseph, is a bowel movement. Thank you.